This is the biggest story in election fraud that I've ever seen. What you're just saying is that President Obama said, oh, no, you can't hack the system. We have all these protections. If you can hack the voting companies, you can take over the system. But this is just for 10X, which is Dallas County coming up. How big are they?
10X is operating in currently 16 states. They're operating in all the hotbed areas in Florida. If you remember in 2018 when they were talking about problems in Broward County,
yes,
Palm Beach, 10X was running all of those locations. Cook County, Chicago is run by 10X. LA, San Francisco, they're headquartered in San Francisco. 10X is actually run by a foreign national who lives in San Francisco.
Let me ask you to go back to that previous one where you showed us the file that had the SQL database. Can you go back there a second?
Yes, I can. Let me open that up real quick.
Okay, that, no, the one that was just to the right of the one you opened.
Okay, right here.
I think it was
secuser.sql.
Let me ask you a question about that.
Okay.
So you can get into that SQL database without doing SQL insertion or anything?
Correct. We did not have to do any SQL injections to find vulnerabilities to be able to gain access to it. Those SQL databases were kept on an unsecured area, and in fact, one of the images that I can bring up for you here, 10X uses Oracle, and this is how we saw this information. So when you look at this 10X oracle.txt file, what they were doing was they were dumping. It originally starts in Oracle, and that's how they build their database. And then they make what's called a dump file. And that dump file that you're seeing right here, where it says 189,683 rows exported.
Yeah.
All we did was we took that export, the dump file, and turned it in an SQL file, which that's what they were doing. So they're securing one SQL file, but they're leaving the dump file for people to be able to go after.
So you took the dump file?
We saw the dump file, we exported it, and that's how we double-checked to see if it actually had personal identification information.
So whatever security was supposed to be on this, these guys are in effect very purposefully circumventing it.
Either that or they're completely ignorant.
But they can't be that dumb.
Well, and if you'll notice, one of the things that I had heard is you're looking at this information from the Oracle database, there are no security features that Oracle has for their databases that is included in this.
So they had a choice. They could have included security features. They did none of them.
Correct.
So they left the key under the mat. Actually, they left the key on top of the mat with a sign
with
saying,
a sign that said key here.
Now, here's one of the other parts,
Wow.
and this I think will be significant. When you look at this list of information, one of the items it shows is where it specifies the password to emails for the poll workers. That means 7,000 poll workers in different areas of Florida have all of their information compromised. So if we have poll worker databases and we know who's going to work the polls, what do you think would happen if a foreign intel service then decides to go to those poll workers and compromise them to control them?
Oh, it's very easily done.
Yeah.
And if you look up 2 links from there, you'll see a section called Moodle. Moodle is what trains all of the poll workers that 10X uses. So to gain access to it, the username was admin and the password is password32 exclamation point.
And they made that public too.
Correct. All of that is showing public. So whenever I look this up using a Python script, I'm now seeing those passwords and those usernames because they were not at all secured.
Jekyll, let me go up. I see this password super 123. Where have I seen or heard that before? I've heard that password from somewhere.
That is, whenever the the Edward Snowden leaks started coming out, that was a common password that the NSA uses
that's right. That's
for
where I
their
heard it.
systems.